Okay. I am a fool. So I was muted. I had the wrong. I had the wrong. Anyway, okay. Today, listen. I had a long day at work, guys. Let's start over. PlayStation, and it's still not working. What is it? What's good, YouTube? What's good, PlayStation Nation? It is your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks, host of When Persona Interviews, and co-host to What's Up PlayStation Podcast every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And yeah, I feel so foolish because I just said a mouthful and now I have to repeat it and now I'm forgetting what I said. But yes, guys, this is number 4 of When Persona interviews. We're getting up there in numbers, still single digits, but we are climbing. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview Tuesday with Kofi. Like I said, that was a really great interview, really fun, really entertaining, and I really hope you guys loved that. But today I have another very special interview with a very dope person. I hope you guys enjoy this interview as much as you enjoy the others. I'm excited for this person to be here. I hope you're excited for this person to be here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you TheAshenLuca. Luca, please introduce yourself to the people. Luca, are you there? Oh no. What is going on? Hold on, Luca. Hold on. My sound is... Okay, here we go. Hold on. There we go. Luca, say something. What is going on today? Okay, hold on. Hold on, guys. I don't know what is going on today with my computer. What is happening? Today is not my day. Let me see. Use the face taste. Say something again, Luca. I don't hear you. Let me see. Hold on, look, I'm hang up and call right back. Hold on. Okay. Say something?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
There you go. Okay. I don't know what's going on today, guys. Today is definitely okay. Let's try this one more time. Take 3. I introduce to you TheAshenLuca. Luca, what is good? Say what's up to the people.
Hello to people, if any of you can hear me, that
Yes,
is.
they can hear you. We're good now.
All right, cool. What's up, guys? Luca here for an interview with Persona. How exciting.
Yeah, very. Um, let's jump straight into it because, like I said, we've been having some issues. Let's jump straight into it. Luca, tell us about Scumcast. How did Scumcast start?
Well, basically what had happened was is that the thing of it is that I have a bit of a negative reputation in some regard when it comes to being in this community. I'm very outspoken, I'm very honest,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't like that. And so I have been on a number of podcasts. I have been a guest on a number of podcasts. And me speaking my mind has led me to meet a lot of amazing people who I've become friends with. But I've also gotten a lot of I've gotten into a lot of arguments with people who don't agree with what I have to say.
Mhm.
And they usually people don't like hearing about themselves, basically. And I tell people about themselves and they react negatively to that and it turns into something ugly usually. So I decided that, well, after I quit like my 16th podcast, basically, because of, after actually the second podcast I was a panel member on, I got into it with the host, and he said to me, Luca, if you don't like what we're doing, you can just leave. And I was like, you must not know who you're speaking to. Bye. Like, I'm not like,
Okay.
see you later. And I left because, like, at the end of the day, this is just a gaming podcast. I'm not going to let anyone disrespect me
Mhm.
or my friends or anything like that
Mhm.
for whatever, you know? So
Mhm.
I was like, I skedaddled, and it's been like a pattern ever since for the most part. For the most part. Like I've had a couple of shows where I've left and it's been perfectly fine, but whatever. Anyway, I promised myself that if I were to ever do a show, because people had been asking for like a year or so because I was like, I don't want to do a podcast. Everyone does a podcast. There's podcasts every single day of the week. Who's going to care? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. But then I was like, okay, if I do a show, I want to make sure I'm doing it with people who are actually my friends, because I feel like that's a huge issue in the community. Like, so many people do these podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they invite people on, they're like, hey, I would love for you to be a panel member based off your personality, right? But then it's like you get on there, and even though you may vibe with the host, the rest of the panel may end up having an issue with you, and you may not vibe with them.
Yeah.
And since you guys aren't friends, whenever you say anything, it may get taken the wrong way, and things escalate and turn ugly when it doesn't have to, because people don't get, like, hey, maybe you're just joking, or maybe you're just pointing something out and you're not actually judging them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started a Discord, and the Discord was up for maybe like 6-7 months or whatever. I had a lot of people join, and I became friends with people slowly over the course of that time. And I was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to start a podcast. Now, I started it's first with J Dubs, so
Okay.
Kratos,
Okay.
and with All Day. All Day is like, I guess I would say he's probably like one of my closest friends, definitely, like in general, not just in the community and everything like that. So it was kind of like all three of our ideas, right? But since Kratos isn't there anymore, it's like me and All Day's show.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were like, oh, we want to do a show, something where we're actually, because I'm sure everyone says it, okay? This show's different from others, okay? We're going to be real. We're going to be on. None of that fanboy itch, man. And then it usually dissolves into some nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But like for me, I was like, I want to start a show with people who are actually my friends. Okay, that's the big thing. With people who are friends with each other, that's a huge thing. And I want them to understand that on my show there will be no bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if there's some bullshit, we're gonna call you out. And that has led to a really good show, in my opinion. I like it. I have a lot of laughs with it. So.
Yeah. That's what's up. How long has Scumcast been going?
So about 2 years.
2? Okay. And so the main panelists are you and All Day.
Yes. So, well, the main panel is me, All Day, Slow-Mo.
Okay.
Metaphorical.
Okay.
The Real Masculine.
Oh, it's a couple of y'all. Okay.
And Hustle just recently joined us, that is, so shout out to him.
So he's an official panel member now?
Yes.
Nice.
And then we have rotating panel members. So our rotating panel members are Gaming Forte, and then BitCloud Gaming, Jay Fonzarelli, like all those guys. So
Okay. That's what's up. That's really dope. I want to go back to something that you said with podcasts and like wanting to do it with your friends, right? It's funny that you mentioned that, because one thing that I've said a lot about is with a lot of these podcasts that you see, a lot of these people, they come together every week, right, faithfully do a podcast, and then they don't talk until the next pod. Like, these people aren't friends outside of the podcast, and it shows through the chemistry, right? One thing I think about podcasts and what makes them so great is the chemistry. So, for example, shout out to my boy Bari. I've known Bari for 6 years. We've met and everything. Like, that's my boy. And, we have our Saturday podcast, but we also was doing a podcast back in the day called the Council Podcast. And it was me,
I heard about that. Yeah, I remember that.
Council Podcast with me, him, Court, Michi, like a ton of us. And we all were friends outside of the podcast. Like, we're all friends. Like, we talk all the time, and we look at each other as family, and that's what made the podcast so great. Where it's like, coming together is dope, but also the fact that we're all friends, so it makes it that much better because it's that much more organic. So I definitely agree with you 100% with that.
Yeah.
So I guess, were you doing content creation before Scumcast, or is Scumcast where you really kind of started when it comes to being in YouTube and doing the podcast and creating content and things like that?
Well, I was definitely not doing any videos, because I still don't do that now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I'm not doing it. It's too much of a hassle, and unless like you get lucky or the right people, it's difficult to grow. And I'm not putting in all that work for something that's not gonna benefit me in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm busy. Well, I'm not busy right now because,
COVID.
yeah. And I don't have a job right now, so whatever. But
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean, I'm in school, so there's that. But like, yeah, I'm just not. I was just never interested in making videos. I'm still not interested in making videos. But
Okay. So.
I was on a lot of podcasts. Like it was bad. Like I was on a lot of podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a guest
Mm-hmm.
mostly. And it was fun. Like it was a lot of fun. But after a while, this stuff gets really draining and boring because everyone is always like saying the exact same thing. And it
Mm-hmm.
got to the point where I was just like, "Oh, I know exactly what this person's going to say right now. I know exactly what this person's going to say. All right, whatever." Like and it wasn't fun anymore. So I stopped guesting as often on podcasts. I still do some here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, I'm just like really chill on it.
So, so then the way you're talking, it doesn't sound like there's any type of plan to take Scumcast to the next level. And what I mean by that is make it like a brand, so to speak, type of thing, and really try to build it into something bigger. You're kind of fine. Are you kind of okay with how it is now and the structure? Like, is there no plans to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I have like zero interest in doing that. Like I don't want to be a big time famous YouTuber or anything like that. Like it's
Hmm.
too much work and I do not care, especially like I don't care enough about gaming news to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if I were to do a channel, it would be yeah, I would talk about gaming, but I would talk about the games I'm actually interested in playing and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't be covering the news. I have like it's boring. I don't care. Like most of it is just lame. So
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. Um, so in terms of like I want to talk a little bit about gaming and kind of get into the realm of this gen, current gen, next gen, things like that, right? So what are your thoughts on the state of gaming in its present form? We're seeing a bit of a paradigm shift on how we consume, purchase, and view gaming, right? So do you
yes,
view gaming in its present state as good, bad, or needs improvement?
I
And give us a reason why.
I think that the biggest issue in gaming right now, and it's an issue that still contribute to. I can't help myself. The silver and destiny, like the swag, man. I can't help
Oh yeah,
myself. You saw those
tight
Titan
mains out
main,
here. Let's go,
baby.
tight mains. We
Titan
out here,
main.
right?
Okay.
Side note, tight mains in the building, right? I
Yes, that
found
is what
out
I like
Luca
to
is a
hear.
Titan main. I am a Titan main. We out here. Well, I say Titan is
Yes,
the best class. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
agreed. But yeah, so I think the microtransactions are the biggest thing in regards to how we've been getting less content and content's been getting sectioned off for money and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest issue. Now, I know like people have problems with Game Pass and this cloud gaming, all this extra stuff, right? But
Hmm.
I feel like we're so far off from that actually becoming like 100% the norm
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
it's not a problem right now. But at the same time, there's nothing we can really do to stop something like that. So it's like, I'm not angry about it, but you also have to keep in mind that I'm 27, right?
Yep.
So like I grew up when the internet started picking up, right? Like I still had the AOL, I had to wait for it to actually load up. I was around for the escalation of the internet, let's say.
Hmm.
So I'm used to a world without the internet and I'm used to this world with it now, right? But
Hmm.
I see like my nephew and my cousin's kid and they're on their iPads, they're playing Fortnite, they're going around. All my friends' kids are on their parents' tablets and iPads playing these games. You know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Hmm.
So it's just like at the end of the day, these corporations are going to look at the future, who's the future
Hmm.
and who the future customers are going to be. And right now, it's like open platforms for the most part. Everyone gaming with each other, whatever, 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 right?
Hmm.
But I do think that, like, take Xbox for instance. Xbox is, you know, they've been struggling, like, they're the losers this generation.
Hmm.
Like there's no denying it. They lost,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
know people like to go back and forth about it, but they lost this gen pretty badly.
Hmm.
And it's really an L after L after L situation for them. Like they just can't catch a break. I just don't know what they're doing, honestly speaking. Like I don't know. Maybe they need a new PR person. I'm not one to advocate for firing people, because that's not what I mean. I'm just saying that they need some help in that regard, because they just continue to make mistakes that seem like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening here? I don't even understand what's going on. So
I want to go back to something that you said a little bit earlier, where you said that even though you contribute to it to some degree with the silver and Destiny, you see microtransactions and things being cut out of the game as a problem, right? Then when we're speaking of things like Game Pass and things of that nature, where you see that you say that it's not that big of an issue right now, so to speak. And to a degree, I do agree. But my question is, when it comes to, the model of Game Pass and the thought process behind Microsoft wanting to kind of provide a more games as a service approach to their games moving forward, since games are in Game Pass, wouldn't you think that Game Pass, or not even just Game Pass, but like that subscription model may be spell trouble for how we consume and how we play games in the future? Because we are the kids are the future, and that's very cliche to say the kids are the future, but at the same time, the children aren't the only target audience, so to speak. So if every game becomes a games as a service, right, what are your thoughts of that type of future for gaming?
it is that I don't think every game is going to become a games as a service. Another thing, it's like Microsoft is doing this, but like Microsoft, like I said before, they're the losers.
Yeah.
Like Sony is the market leader right now. They're going to do what they feel is best, and that's going to be what the mainstream follows. Just
Yeah.
because Microsoft is doing Game Pass doesn't mean that Sony has to do something similar to it right now, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Microsoft is ahead of the game in the sense that they have these big ideas for stuff, right? But then they don't know how to roll it out properly, or they roll it out too early, and then they end up looking like the bad guys. And I mean, sucks to suck, I guess, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. But considering the fact that okay, so I personally, my game share partner has Game Pass, so I have Game Pass through him. If my game share partner didn't have Game Pass, I wouldn't have Game Pass. I have zero interest in that service. Um, and to be honest, I'm not really a fan of any Microsoft games all that much. Like, I like Gears. I like the story, and I like, I'll play it with my friends, but I'm not a huge fan or anything. I like Halo 5's multiplayer. I'll play it with my friends, but I'm not a huge fan or anything. None of their other titles appeal to me. So it's just kind of like whatever. I feel like because Sony's the market leader right now, we don't have to worry about that or get upset about that or anything, because Sony is providing a traditional console and a traditional gaming experience for the most part. So it's just like, if you want to continue playing like you've always been playing, as they like to say, shout out to my boy Don Matrick, there's a console for you. But the Xbox is a brand right now. It's not just a console. I really do not think that they care if people buy the Series X. Like, that's not their main concern. I think their concern is with the streaming. I think their concern is with games as a service, and I think that's what they're going to focus on, and kudos to them, whatever. But it's like, it's not something I'm concerned with, because PlayStation is providing those experiences that people want. And I don't think both corporations should be the same, Like,
Well,
I think the main issue of Xbox is that, they haven't had a good fucking game in like 18 years, basically. Like, where are your games at? I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask this question then, right? Because you say that they both should be exactly the same, right?
No, I don't think they should be.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said I don't think they should be.
Yeah. You don't think they should be exactly the same, right? So, I guess my follow-up question to that would be, if Microsoft and not even Microsoft, let's say Xbox, if you bought into an Xbox brand, right? You invested in this brand for years and years and years, and I'm not even just talking about Xbox One. I'm just saying Xbox as a, the Xbox, like OG Xbox 360, all these different things, and then you see such a shift like this, right? Because realistically speaking, PlayStation and Microsoft and Xbox were both traditional consoles providing the traditional experience. One broke off, and PlayStation is still doing that and doing it quite well. If we have to admit that, but
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
wouldn't you still expect Microsoft to continue to provide that traditional experience, because that's what they're built off of. And I'm not talking Microsoft as the company. I'm only speaking in terms of Xbox. Xbox is built off that traditional brand and that traditional, providing that traditional experience of gaming. Now, not saying that not dabble in other areas, because PlayStation's doing it, PS Now and all these different things. PlayStation's doing it as well, but PlayStation hasn't abandoned its core audience and what made it as great. Would you look at Microsoft and be like, oh, you're branching off to these other things, which is great, but you're also kind of abandoning your core console market and audience that has propelled you and put you in this position of success. How big or however big or little it might be, it still is some form of success. Would you not think that that's unfair to that console market?
All right. Daily rant about capitalism and consumerism. Here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am not an Xbox fan who has been around for years. Like, my brother had a 360, and then I had a PlayStation 3, and I had a PlayStation 2, right? So we would just play games with each other using each other's systems or anything like that. I had a PlayStation 4. I still have a PlayStation 4. It's right next to me. But I had a PlayStation 4. And I played mainly on PlayStation until the beginning of 2017, right? And so I got an Xbox One S, and then I joined the community, basically.
You talking about the Xbox community?
Yeah, the Xbox community.
Okay.
Yeah, I joined the Xbox community inadvertently, on accident, man. They just drew me in, man. I was minding my business, man.
So I guess
I totally get what you're saying, but for me personally, I just genuinely don't care.
Gotcha.
I don't have any feelings invested in any of these corporations as a whole. Nothing about either of these corporations. I mean, they don't do anything for me personally. Because when it comes to people, what you're saying, it sounds like you're saying it's this audience here, these loyal people who have played on Xbox all these years, who've built your brand, right? You are abandoning them. You are leaving them in the wind, and isn't that unfair? And I'm just kind of unfair? Business being unfair? What a shock! I'm so blown away by this concept. None of these corporations care about us. We are walking pigs. We are pigs, okay? We are dollar signs to them, okay? They are a corporation that provide a product, and we spend our money on that product. We are nothing to them. They can go ahead and say, oh, we care about our players, blah, 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 blah. No, they do not, because they can't, because they're corporations. All they care about is making the most money that they can because they're greedy. Okay, anyway, we just live in a capitalistic society. Well, okay? Let me that. Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. No, finish your thought. Finish your thought.
No, I don't. I see, and I've seen years ago what direction Xbox has chosen to go in regards to their brand, and I said, okay, when it comes to stuff like this, if a corporation is not giving you what you want, find another corporation that will give you what you want. You complaining about this corporation, I'm using a general you complaining about this corporation abandoning you does nothing. You will not sway them in any way other than in the color green. And if
let me stop you right there.
They're clearly making they are making a lot of money doing whatever nonsense that they're doing. So they're going to continue doing whatever nonsense that they're doing because it makes them money. They don't give a fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse in here?
Oh, no, it's fine. Listen,
they don't give a fuck
on my platform, I want people to be able to speak freely. You're not, there's no strings. It's
cool. Free. They don't give a fuck about any of us. So whatever. If you don't like what Xbox is doing, just go buy a PlayStation or go buy a Switch. It's that simple, in my opinion.
I think, well, you know, I think we have to also look at it like this, right? So, uh, to to say that the companies don't completely care, is something that I think we have to kind of look at from both sides of the perspective, right? And you know, I want to use an example, and it's the most recent example that I think we all can, you know, we all saw, which was Halo Infinite, right? When Halo was shown, it was not received very well, right? We knew that the game was not great. It was very, you know, a lot of people were very vocal. It became the joke of social media, right? It became a meme, and not in a good way, right? Then, you know, it comes out that they are pushing the game back because they believe the game is not up to par to what we feel the fans should want, right? Not only that, but we also get the news that Microsoft was playing around with the idea of releasing this game, like having a staggered release, right? So when you look at something like Halo Infinite and you see how the game, and I'm only playing devil's advocate here, I'm you know, I definitely, you know, PlayStation is definitely where it's at, but when you look at the Halo and how that has happened, and how that the community being vocal has really warranted change, you don't think that's significant in any way? Like, does that not, when you see something like that, do you not think, oh, well, you know, if we can be vocal in about this, and get the change for this, maybe there's hope for, you know, XYZ?
Well, I think it really depends because what happened with the Halo situation is that this is focusing on one of their big three, right? It's like
Mm,
Halo, Gears, and Forza. You know that song is fire.
mm,
Anyway,
mm,
it's one of their big three, so
mm,
they're gonna treat those franchises with more care than they've treated literally any other titles. Like, let me
mm,
tell you, it's
mm,
been real bad, man. Okay, anyway, but yeah, so they're gonna handle those franchises with more care, and they're gonna be mindful of what their consumer base wants.
mm.
That being said, Halo Infinite is what? It's going to be one of those games where they just continue to iterate on it. They just add to
Yeah,
it.
I think it's gonna be a games as
So
a service.
so they're not really changing anything. They're not listening to us. Do Halo fans want Halo to be a games as a service?
But even, you know, in that regard, I would say baby steps, right? Because at least the game is now being delayed so that it can be polished up and truly look like a next gen experience. Can we take that W at least?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a W, but as I stated, like I stated this earlier
Mm-hmm.
in the week when we first got the news, I said there's a good chance that they decided to delay it based off fan reaction, but
Mm-hmm.
there might be something else going on with that as well.
Of
So we
course,
can't 100% say it's just because, oh, we rallied against it. You know what I mean?
of
I
course.
definitely believe in, if you're a consumer, you should speak up
Mm-hmm.
for the things that you want. But
Mm-hmm.
you also have to understand that there is a line. There's a point.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is Xbox is a platform that is a games as a service.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing that any of us say is going to change that. They're not going to suddenly decide, hey, you know what? We're making too much money. We're actually just going to go back to being traditional. Like, they're not going to do that. No matter how much people complain, no matter how much people bitch and speak up on these podcasts or on Twitter or anything like that, they're going to be like, oh, what's that? Are you a dollar bill walking over here? Okay, I'll listen to you then. Maybe. Oh, there's more money over here? Let me go over to where there's more money. Halo, even though they're delaying it to make it look better, is still a game that's going to be a games as a service. They haven't changed anything. Like, I assure you, I bet Gears might be that way too. The next
Mm-hmm.
Gears,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me they're not aiming for that. And for
Mm-hmm.
Forza as well, that's what they're doing with their games, man. That's what they're focusing on. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing any of us say can change that.
Yeah. Question. What is your preferred platform of playing games?
Well, I'm on Xbox because that's where Destiny is. Okay. I put so many hours into
I mean,
Destiny
that cross
2.
save.
Like, but yeah, I actually, because I have friends who are on PlayStation 2,
Mm,
and I told them I would play Destiny on PlayStation as soon as the PS5 comes out
okay.
because I don't want to play on my PS4 anymore right now. So,
Okay. So your preferred platform in right now is Xbox.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Um. So when you hear a phrase like the future of gaming, right?
Hmm.
What does that future look like to you?
Well, it looks like me just continuing to play Destiny, honestly speaking. Like, honestly speaking,
Okay.
like I have been playing this game continuously for years now. I'm stuck, man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trapped there. So it's like, I will just be playing Destiny and then I'll be playing like whatever game I want to play that comes out that interests me, right? Like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
huge RPG fan. And so, you know, whenever there's the next Persona game, which, Persona 5, amazing, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
228 hours in it. I'm just saying the
Nice.
game's
You got the
yes.
platinum?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I can't remember her name. I missed the girl, the one who's like in the church or
Oh, you
whatever,
missed the
and wanted.
confidant.
Yeah, I
Oh,
missed her,
okay.
and I was trying to, but I missed her in my like third playthrough, and I was like, I'm not playing this again.
Mm.
So you know, so yeah, but
Okay.
yeah. So I will play whatever games come out and enjoy them because like even though there's going to be a lot of games as a service, there's still going to be people making games that
Mm-hmm.
are traditional. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like not something I'm worried about right now.
Mm.
But the thing of it is that things can change so easily when it comes to this space
Yeah.
that I'm just kind of like, well, we'll see how things are in a couple of years and if it's like a huge issue or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um Mostly there are so many games, right? There are so many games that if it ever does become like a huge issue where it feels like every single corporation is just implementing this games as a service, there's no real innovation or anything like that. There are just so many games that are going to come out that we're all going to put on our backlog that we can
Mm.
just okay, well,
Well, we
I'll just
get
go.
that now where a lot of people, they get on social media, my backlog, my backlog.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
talk about their backlog a lot, but never really tackle the backlog.
Exactly. So there are so many games now that are so good that you can just go back and play if
Yeah.
it ever becomes to the point where you feel like, oh, there's nothing coming out. Because right now, that's how I feel. Like there's nothing I'm interested in right now coming out.
Really? Did you
You know?
play Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us too or anything?
I am not interested in either of those games.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm very specific in the games that I play, right?
What are your favorite genres?
So I am a huge Souls fan, okay? Dark
Okay.
Souls.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the Souls games. I've played all of them except for Demon Soul. I mean, I played Demon Souls, but I was like, I can't get through it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I played it late, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm a huge Bloodborne fan, so I like that genre. But like, I just like From Software games. I'm not really interested 100% in the Souls clones. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then like I said before, I was a huge BioWare fan, but they've been struggling. They've been struggling. Like I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anthem. I think that is a good example of what you were saying, right? They
Mm.
bring out Anthem. It's like this games as a service, multiplayer nonsense, broken mess. They didn't even know what they were doing for years, right? They just threw
Mm.
it out
Mm.
there.
Mm.
Not like what their fans are used to, right?
Yeah.
And the fans had something to say, except for, I mean, I know a couple people who still play it, which I don't know why, but whatever. They enjoy it, so good for them.
They still playing Anthem?
Yeah.
Oh man, they gotta see a therapist, man.
Shout out to them. But yeah, so I think when it comes to like these smaller corporations, like BioWare is known for their RPGs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they turned around and they were like, we're not going to put out a proper RPG. Their fans had something to say. Their fans, bread and butter. This is where we make the most money is through our fans in this regard. Okay, cool. We're gonna switch it up. We're going back to drawing board. I'm not going to say they ruined Mass Effect, but it's left a bad taste in people's mouth, right? And when it
Mm.
comes to these corporations, I have like a three-strike rule, right?
Okay.
So it's like they messed up with Anthem. Andromeda was boring. So if they fuck up the next Dragon Age, I am gonna throw a
It's
fit.
hard to fuck that up.
Like
It's hard to
I
mess that
I
up.
will. It's hard to fuck up effect, man. Like come on,
I
like
mean, I
I,
played. It's funny too because Mass Effect Andromeda was my first ever Mass Effect,
no,
and
I'm
it was it was okay. I tried numerous times to kind of finish it, and I play it a little bit because I get that urge, and then while I'm playing it, I'm like, nah, I can't play this, man. I just can't.
I am so sorry. If anything, you should try playing the Mass Effect series on PC. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Going back to that, I say PC because those controls, Mass Effect 1 are so bad. Like I thought I was like, I don't know if I can get through this. I got through it, but it was a struggle.
I
So
think the remasters are coming out.
I am praying, but if they do a remaster, they need to like do something with those Mass Effect 1 controls, man. Like that is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Mass Effect series is like amazing. Amazing. Mass Effect 2, probably one of the best games ever in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I prefer the Dragon Age series. I love Dragon Age so much, and if they mess up Dragon Age, I'm like not going to buy a BioWare game day 1 until they show me that they are going to provide the content that I want, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to these development studios, right, doing
Mm.
stuff like this and getting a bad reaction from their fans, I feel like it's different with Xbox as a whole
Mm.
because their fans are still buying into the ecosystem. You know, there's still a ton of people who are just like, you know what, this is how it is now. I've adapted, I have changed with what this corporation has chosen to do.
Does
And
that mean that they're happy though? When
I
you
don't
look
know.
at the well, I'm getting ahead of myself with a question, but we already opened the door, so screw it. So like when you look at and I only want to use social media, and we before I even ask the question, we know, and I'm sure you know just as much as I do, and everyone here, we know that social media is a very small vacuum bubble when it comes to the thought process and ideologies of gamers around the world, right? Every gamer isn't thinking like X, Y, and Z, right? But let's use social media as that catalyst, right? When you look at social media and you look at what Microsoft has been doing, and you see the reactions, do you ever stop and think, you know, are you really this happy for? Like, you ever just ask, how are you happy about? How is this? How are you happy for this or with this when you weren't in the past? Like, how things were in the past is where you see people most happy.
It goes back to brand loyalty. Like
Mm,
these people, no matter what these corporations do, because they feel connected to these trillion-dollar industries, right? Like
mm,
they feel personally connected to them, which I do not understand. I don't get it myself, but whatever.
mm,
Because they feel connected to them. No matter what Microsoft, and this goes for Sony as well. No matter what Microsoft or Sony do, there's always going to be people there who damage control for them, like excessively, unnecessarily. It's
mm.
kind of like I I follow logic, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if this makes sense logically, then I'm with it. It makes sense. I understand. But
Can you give us an example of like something that would be logical, that like give us something in a game and form where it would be logical and you would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Give us an example.
like,
Say it again.
crossplay,
Okay, so you think that's something that's logical.
yes, I
Can
think
you,
that's something that makes sense financially because in this
can
day
you
and age,
explain that?
yeah,
Okay.
because in this day and age, as we are going towards the future,
Hmm.
people are getting used to this idea that they can play their games anywhere, right? Or they have access to whatever media anywhere. So it's
Hmm.
like, I log onto my phone, I go to this app, it's the same settings on my computer, that kind of thing, right? And
Hmm.
so there's already games that are implementing things like that, like Rogue Company, for
Hmm.
instance. And I, for one, love crossplay. The fact that I can be on my Xbox and play with All Day, which I like, let's talk about All Day for a second. All Day had a really rough time in regards to becoming a pony, really just transitioning. Like, right? Because
Okay.
like when I met him, he was a hardcore Xbox guy, right? And
Okay.
All Day was not
Oh, they
happy.
saw the light, man. He saw the light.
He wasn't happy with what Microsoft was doing.
Hmm.
So All Day switched over to PlayStation.
Hmm.
And I like he had oh man, it was pretty bad. Like there were a lot of people who were giving him a lot of shit for it, right?
Hmm.
But it's like All Day is my friend outside of just gaming. So I was like, whatever, play where you want. But so it's nice that I can play with him. But All Day he'll still come back to Xbox. He'll play. Like I played Halo with him on
Hmm.
Saturday. So he'll
Hmm.
still come over and play with me and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So but personally, I love crossplay. I love being able to play with PlayStation. Okay, we can talk about PC being like, okay,
Let,
cheaters on PC. I'm just saying cheaters.
let me
Like,
ask you a question because you when you said that the crossplay was logical, and you said, and I asked you why, and you said financial. In terms of the financial aspect, you're talking about the financial for the developer, the console manufacturer, the consumer. Where does that financial make sense for you? Where does that lie?
I think it's for me. For me, it
So you
makes sense.
think so when you say financial, you mean at the consumer level?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because if you think about it like this, there was no way in hell I was ever going to start Destiny 2 on my PlayStation. Start like a new account, you know? Like there was just
Mm,
no way I was gonna fucking do that. I was like,
mm,
all this time I've invested in it, absolutely fucking not. There was just no way I was gonna do it.
mm.
But uh Bungie introduces what is it? What is it? Cross
Cross
plat.
save, cross progression.
So they introduced progression, and I'm just like, okay, cool. This is awesome for me. I don't have to start another character here. Great.
Mm,
So this makes sense to me. I
yeah.
should be able to take my account that's tied to Bungie.net, and I should be able to play it anywhere and have
Mm.
it be the
But when you
exact
go to
same.
PlayStation, that's not Bungie.net. That's PlayStation.
Yeah, I know.
That's a
I'm talking.
PlayStation account. So you expect those two to communicate.
When you log into your account, you're logging into the Bungie servers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if your account is the same on the Bungie servers, then it
It
should be
should
the
go
same
work
everywhere.
everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, the screen when you log into Destiny looks exactly the same no matter where you go because you're
Mm-hmm.
logging into those servers onto your character.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. I like that.
I know a lot
Um.
of people don't like crossplay or whatever, but it's
Yeah. I
like,
mean, I think when it comes to crossplay, it's not something that's at the top of my list, right? Same thing with like backwards compatibility and stuff like that. I think those things are they're they don't matter as much as the game itself or the development or how great if a game has crossplay but the game is still ass, no one's gonna play it anywhere because the game is ass. Like I'm more the way my thought process and ideologies lie is more so in how great the game is. My preferred platform is PlayStation, so because that is my preferred platform and where a lot of my games are played, the friends that I'm gonna want to play with are there. And if there's friends anywhere else that play at other places, hey, do you got a PlayStation? No. Do you have a PC? I mean, I have everything anyway, so I don't mind double dipping, but that's me. I don't expect everybody to
you
feel
would
or think
what
how I feel because I
if you
double dipped on plenty of games, tons
if
of
you
times.
if you had an Xbox, you would put all that energy into an Xbox account for Destiny?
No, because my preferred platform is PlayStation, so I'm gonna
But
play
I'm
on
saying
PlayStation.
if you had friends on the Xbox platform and you wanted to play with them.
It depends. It would depend on how many friends, how dedicated am I, things like that. But because Destiny has the cross save where uh, you can do like the save, like you can change your account over and stuff like that. That stuff wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, well, I mean, I understand your priorities, but I have friends on like every platform. So I would like to play with them personally. Like I
Yeah,
don't believe
yeah.
in a closed ecosystem because I once again do not have an actual brand loyalty. I
Mm. So
don't
you think
care.
exclusives are bad?
I didn't say that
No, no, no,
in
no, no, no. I'm asking you. I'm
Oh
asking you.
yeah.
Do you think exclusives are bad?
No, no.
So, if that's not bad, can you explain what you mean then with when you say your statement? Like, can you break that down a little bit more?
Well, I need to like understand what the correlation is between crossplay and exclusives in your thinking
Well, no,
because
because
for crossplay games those are usually multi-plats.
well, yeah.
So
So explain. Okay, so say your statement again. When you say crossplay, you say that you have friends everywhere. So you want you want the cross progression to be something that's enabled.
yeah, I like crossplay and I like cross progression.
So, because crossplay, if there's crossplay, you still would have to buy the game on the other platform. Now, cross buy and cross progression, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's different tiers to it, because if there's cross, so for example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that's crossplay, right? You can play with PC players and you can play with console players. You still have to buy the game on PC. It's not a cross-buy scenario. Crossplay only allows you to play, cross-generational games. So if you're playing,
if like I don't, I'm not understanding what you don't get. Like
no, so you would say,
if I'm playing on my Xbox,
yeah, you'll
and
be
I
able
can
to
play
play
with
with
my
someone.
friend on I can
Yeah,
play
you
with
would
people on PlayStation. I don't have to
Yeah,
buy the game.
no, you don't have to buy the game. No, what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying,
so that's why I said I
no,
like cross play and cross progression. Like I
well,
like
that's what
both
I'm
of those
saying. You
things.
said that
So
you said that you don't believe in barriers. That's why I asked. In terms of exclusives, do you view that as a barrier? That's what I'm saying. What are your thoughts? That's why I asked. What are your thoughts on exclusives? Is that like, do you view that as a barrier?
no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because and this is where it goes back to logic. So PlayStation as a corporation has to find a way to appeal to their fans, right? And the best way to do that is to release titles that are exclusive to their platform. And that makes sense to me logically.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense.
Okay.
But like, yeah, so there's no, I mean, in my opinion, there's no correlation. And I don't know if that's what you were implying. Maybe it was like a separate question entirely. But like, there's no correlation between crossplay, cross progression, and exclusivity in regards to first party games.
Okay.
Because like when we're talking about crossplay and cross progression, we're talking about multiplats.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool. So next, we've seen a lot of ups, downs, and flip flops, etc. this gen with the gaming. Moving into next gen, where do you think gaming is head? Did I ask this question? Yeah, I did. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry, that was the wrong question. Seeing how next gen has unraveled before our eyes throughout the year, what is your confidence level going into next gen for Sony and Microsoft? Are you completely sold on next
Well,
gen?
yeah, I'm sold on the PlayStation 5
Okay.
for Demon Souls. Okay. I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5 for Demon Souls. And for Xbox, I'm gonna get it for Destiny. For Destiny, because it's gonna be 60 frames on the Xbox Series X. And as you know, PC has a real cheating problem right now for Destiny too. So I'm not going
Yeah,
over there.
that trials is messy.
Ooh, it is bad, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, but we're all different kinds of consumers. So where I'm at in my life, I can, and I have throughout my entire life, bought systems for one game. Like I bought a Switch for Fire Emblem Three Houses. Fucking amazing, right? I bought an Xbox One S so I could play Skyrim again with mods. I was like, oh, it has mods, cool. I'll come over here. I don't have a PC, right? And then I'm gonna buy a PlayStation 5 for Demon Souls, and I'll buy a Series X for Destiny. And that's the kind of consumer that I am. Like spending that kind of money on things that I enjoy is something that I am lucky enough to be able to do. And I know a lot of people are not fortunate in that regard and they have to choose one or the other. And I think people should get a PlayStation 5. I think PlayStation 5 has more to offer in regards to value to the system.
Okay.
Because like I stated before, the Xbox right now is a brand, it's not just the system. So they don't care if you buy a Series X. Like they'll let you play their games anywhere. So I had a conversation with someone about that yesterday. I told him, hey man, if you only have money for one, just get a PlayStation 5,
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about the people within the community who have a preference and are very vocal about that on social media? Because I know a couple of times you've said on social media how like fanboys can get crazy, the radicals and things like that. And hearing you speak during this podcast, it seems like you don't necessarily align with that, but you still do have a preference, right? So for the people that do have a preference and are very vocal about that, and PlayStation is the best or Xbox is the best, blah blah blah, however that works. What are your views and thoughts on that? Do you view that as like toxic? Do you view that as a problem in the community? Like, give me your thoughts.
I don't think it's toxic. I don't think people understand like the meaning of the word toxic, honestly speaking. It's just like they don't know the meaning of the word anti-consumer, but that's none of my fucking business, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's one word that people just throw out all the time
Mm,
for whatever reason.
mm.
I think like okay, I have an issue with people taking things too far. Like at the end of the day, this is about gaming,
Okay.
and I understand that this is also like a personal thing as well. So where I grew up, we didn't insult people over dumb shit like
Wouldn't
video
that be
games.
toxic to you though?
No, that's not toxic.
Well,
That's
no, I'm
just
at what is toxic to you then? Like
what's
what?
toxic
Like
to
yeah, what's toxic? And
I
what I
don't
mean, not the definition. Like, what would be something that happens within the gaming community that you would say, "Damn, that's toxic."
I don't like to use the word toxic because usually when I think people are going too far, it has something to do with racism, homophobia,
Okay,
sexism, that
okay,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why I don't use toxic. I use whatever
Whatever the word.
definition.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of racism, especially in the Xbox
Definitely.
camp. Like there's a lot of racism in the Xbox camp as
Yeah.
well. So
Mm,
like I don't think that I'm not like, oh, this is toxic. I'm like, no, you're just being racist. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
like but like someone who enjoys a platform and they like talk about it all the time and
Mm,
bash the other system, I'm like, whatever. That has nothing to do with me. So I don't care.
okay.
Like I mean, it doesn't bother me. If something is bothering me, right? Like the only people I address are people I'm cool with, right? So it's
Mm,
like if I'm not cool with you and then you're doing like the fanboy stuff,
mm,
I'm probably just going to ignore you and just keep it moving, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like rarely do I engage with posts where I'm like, "What do you mean? How could you say such a thing?"
Mm,
If
mm,
we're not friends. Like if we're friends, I'll be the first one there like, "What did you say?"
yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
just messing around, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think the console war is fun. I think it's a lot of fun. I think people are very funny. I have a lot of
Funny
laughs.
in a
Like
good way. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. A
yeah,
lot of laughs.
funny in a
Okay.
good
Okay.
way.
Okay.
Like those Craig memes were amazing, you know?
Very funny.
And but you know, I need the chaos to thrive. So that's basically my thinking on it.
Okay.
I don't
Uh,
think it's toxic. I don't like hypocrites though. And if you're being a hypocrite, I'll be like, "Hey yo, wait a second now."
Give me
Because
an
I
example
also
of a hypocrite.
someone who condemns PlayStation for something
Mm,
but doesn't say anything and actually supports it when Xbox is doing it. It's like, "Hey
okay.
yo, you had a lot to say about this, buddy. What's going on?" You know? I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like that. And I don't like people what is it? There's something. Oh, I am not a big fan of people who flop. And the
Okay.
reason why is because I think that there should be no such thing as flip-flopping. Because I don't think you should have been so invested in something that you were actively bashing the other platform and the people who like that other platform, right?
Mm,
And completely, because most of it, like, you know, no tea, no shade to my Xbox brethren or whatever, but like most of the hardcore Xbox guys who have flip flopped, right, were really irrational when it came to being a fanboy. Like they would never acknowledge when Microsoft would do something wrong. They would never acknowledge that PlayStation has good games. They were just really active in like hating the other brand, right?
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
when I see them like do a complete 180 in like transition, right? They're just like, okay, I'm going to actively hate Xbox on the PlayStation side. I'm just like, it doesn't even have to be like this. If you had just not been a delusional fuckface and just acknowledged, like, hey, PlayStation's actually pretty great, then you wouldn't feel this need to completely switch over. Plus, I do think a lot of it does have to do with views, which is perfectly fine. Like, do what you got to do for your money, baby. You know, but it's just kind of
View. You
like,
mean views like YouTube views and all
yeah,
that
YouTube
content
views.
views? Okay, so you
Mhm.
think a lot of people are shilling, or not a lot, but you think people are shilling for views?
I think some people are. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Mm,
Because I mean, we all we all do it. Like you know,
yeah.
like in some way or another, everyone does it, and I don't have a problem with that. I just personally am just not a fan of it because it makes a person look fake, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
like I don't even know if you actually care about this or not, or if you're just doing it just because.
Just
And that
because.
is why, okay, and there's a big thing, right? When Xbox guys switch over to PlayStation, they get a lot of backlash from other Xbox guys, right? Because they've spent so much of their time actively hating PlayStation. I have never had that problem because I came into the community. I'm like, woo, Team Xbox, baby, still like that to this day, right? But I have never actively hated anything PlayStation is doing. I have a PlayStation. I like playing on PlayStation, whatever, right? So it's like when I talk about PlayStation or I talk about Xbox, people are not in my chat like, I can't believe you flip flopped or blah, 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 because I've always been honest about how I feel about both corporations from the beginning. And I just think that if people were just honest about what these corporations are doing and be like, okay, this is like really shitty of this corporation to do this,
Would you
then
cons-
people wouldn't give them such a hard time. So,
would you consider yourself a neutral?
no.
So you lean PlayStation or Xbox, either
Yeah, I'm
or
on.
PC or Nintendo, whatever.
I consider myself whatever people view me, because at the end of the day, it does not matter if I'm like, oh, I'm actually neutral in this and blah blah blah. I don't blah 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 whatever, right? People are going to judge me based off my
Your actions.
actions.
Okay.
So if I can say, and I hate this, I hate when people deny the fact that they're fanboys, right? I can be like, I own everything. I'm a neutral, right? But then if you see me the next day and consistently saying, "Oh, PlayStation is trash. PlayStation sucks. Xbox does no wrong." Hey, I'm just gonna show up to random threads and defend Xbox for no fucking reason. Where did you come from? I don't even know. And like vice versa, you can be like, "Oh, I'm a neutral." You could say that, but it's based off how other people view you, right? So I go like people see me. Well, I am assuming people see me as an Xbox fan boy, basically. Like I'm like, okay, cool, I'm an Xbox fanboy. I will go with whatever way you guys view me because that is how you view me. And
Even if that's not true.
even if it's not true, it doesn't bother me. Like being called a fanboy is not like a big deal, you know? Like I'm a black woman. So there are worse things you can say to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever. Like being called a fanboy is like not a big deal to me. It's like whatever, man. Like it's cool. I just don't like man, my biggest like, and this happened today. I don't like people who comment on my show who don't fucking watch it. Like that is so annoying.
They'll read the
Like,
title and be like, "What is this? What is this?"
because I had asked a few days ago. I was like, okay, so my chat is mostly PlayStation guys, right?
Okay.
And so I was like, do Xbox guys listen to my podcast, right? And I got a lot of people saying, I listen to it, but I don't participate in the chat. I'm like, okay, cool, right? And so I have been told that me and the panel sometimes, I don't know, jump people, we just little, like that. What? I don't know what's going on.
Jump people as in
as,
give
as
them
in
the third
like,
degree.
Someone says something stupid on Wednesday. I hit them up on Thursday, like, hey, do you want to come Scumcast? And then, we spend the first 45 minutes just chilling. And then I'm like, okay, would you like to explain this nonsense you said on Wednesday? I would like really appreciate it.
Okay.
And so some people take me asking them, like, hey, can you explain yourself as me like actively attacking them or hating them or whatever. Like I've gotten this comment so many times that like
well, you know why that is, right? That's because oftentimes something that I've learned in this community, especially like debating or speaking gamings with a lot of people say things, but they never can explain why they feel the way they feel, right? So if someone was to say, "Oh, PlayStation's trash," why? Oh, because it's trash. But why? Why is it trash? Oh, because the consumers of this. No. Why is it trash to you? Oftentimes people either speak in third person or they're speaking for like there's some type of politician speaking for other people. And it's like, no, give me your personal reason why this is trash. A lot of people can't explain their opinions or really back up their their statements with anything. So I think that's why some people may think that you're attacking them because they themselves can't really articulate why they feel the way they feel. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree with that. I think people are not used to being questioned, especially by a woman. They're like, "What? A woman is
Mm,
questioning me? How
mm,
dare she?"
mm,
So yeah, it leads into that. But
mm.
like, it's like I've had my own panel say, "Oh, you are actively going against me, Luca." I'm like, "What, me?" And the answer is yes, I am. But it's just, I'm just messing around. It's whatever, right?
Mm,
So I just don't. People are just not used to being questioned. That's really what it comes down to.
mhm,
They're especially no tea, no shade to these PlayStation and Xbox centric podcasts, but they like to fill the room with yes men, and it's boring.
mm. Okay. Yes, man. In what degree? Meaning that
It's
if
like
it's
a
also,
circle jerk. Yeah, it's like oh, this is great. Yeah, this is so great. Yeah, there's nothing going wrong that's wrong. This is awesome.
but
Woo!
if something really is that great, is that wrong? Like, is so you would want a podcast with contrarians?
I want a podcast where people are willing to hear other people's perspective,
Okay.
even if it's doesn't align with theirs.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. But if so, again, let's use PlayStation. If whatever news for that week was all good news for PlayStation, is that a good thing, a bad thing? Like
Yeah, that's
maybe,
a good thing.
and I'm talking like in terms of a PlayStation centric podcast. If the news for that week is good news, is that a circle jerk or is that people just talking about the news?
Well, that's just people talking about the news, but I'm not saying that it's every show that is like that.
Mm.
So I'm
Okay.
saying that sometimes people like to have circle jerk podcasts.
Mm.
But it's just like if something is good, then something's good. There's nothing
Mm.
wrong with that.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, man. No, Persona, you seem to be asking a lot of leading questions and questions where it's like, okay, so how do I spin this to make it sound like this? I'm not
No, of
sure how I'm
course.
feeling about that, buddy.
Of course not. I'm asking straight up regular
Are
questions.
you?
Yeah,
Are
and
you?
I'm curious. I like to, I like one. I like to ask questions, and two, I like to understand why people think and feel the way they feel. So that's why I ask those type of
Interesting.
questions.
Hmm.
A couple more questions. So what are chances? Excuse me. What are changes within the gaming community that you think need to happen?
Oh, think anything needs to change. Like it's whatever to me. So.
Hmm. Oh, you don't. That's it. Like it's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think people are just gonna be how they are, and I don't think there's anything that I can do as an individual to get people to change.
True,
So,
but do you think I true. You may none of us probably could do anything, but if you were to kind of be on, excuse me, no, somebody outside. If you were to kind of be on the outside looking in, well, not even on the outside looking in, but being within the community for so long and seeing how a lot of things have transpired and happened, uh, have you never thought like, damn, like I wish this wasn't like this or this wasn't like that? Have you ever felt that way? And if so, what are some of those things?
no, I've never felt that way because this community is not special in any sort of way in regards to how people behave. I have been in many fandoms, and
Mm,
fandom culture is like a cult, right?
mm,
So and then each fandom has people that are like unofficially elected, quote unquote elected as like the leaders, right? And
mm,
it's usually because they are the most popular because of certain things they've said or certain content that they've put out, right? So
mm-hmm,
it's not different from any of the other fandoms that I've been in. Fandom culture is just herd and sheep mentality. So when I come into this community, I am aware of how people are going to be based off my experiences in other communities. It's just going to be
mm-hmm.
full of irrational fuck faces who, are just crazy, man. Like that's
Yeah,
just how it
yeah,
is. Like these people are crazy,
yeah.
and that's fine. Like I get it. Like if I have an issue with the fandom or anything like that, or if I have an issue with someone, I'll just say it. But it's like it's not enough to get me to be like, you guys have to change. I need you to change for this or blah blah whatever.
Mm,
Because I
mm,
know
mm.
people aren't going to change, and also like if it's really that big of a deal, people can just leave. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
any of us are stuck in this fandom. We can just leave. And
Mm.
I want to say something I do hate. I hate when people make announcements. I'm leaving Twitter, man. I'm leaving YouTube. I'm letting y'all know that I'm leaving. And I'm like, I will see your ass in 2 days. I know this. You are addicted to being here. So please do not do that. You look dumb. All right.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
need a
yeah.
break, if I need a break, I just take a break. I don't say anything.
Yeah, got you, got you. One last question, and this is something I like to ask a lot of the guests that come on my show, just because I'm always interested. You know, my like I said, my preferred platform is PlayStation. I mean, I've been a PlayStation fan since PS1. You know, my first console was Super Nintendo, but PlayStation is definitely up there, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, in your opinion, you know, what is your thoughts on the PlayStation community?
I think the
And when I say
PlayStation.
community, I mean the people.
Oh, yeah, the PlayStation community is fun.
Okay.
I mean, I view them the same way that I view the Xbox guys, honestly. Like they're
Mm,
all I know people hate I mean, I know people hate hearing this, but a fanboy is a fanboy is a fanboy. It does not matter what side you're on. Like if you
mm.
are irrational and if you rep a brand to the point where you're not willing to hear any sort of criticism or critique,
Or
or if you
reason.
spend or reason, or if you spend the majority of your time bashing Xbox and Xbox people just
Mm,
because you just don't like Xbox.
mm,
I mean, you're a fanboy, so I view you the same way that I view the Xbox guy. Now, I
mm,
think the biggest differences, and this is like I said, this is a personal thing based off my experiences in other fandoms. I have been in a lot of fandoms, and each fandom has different sides of the community, right?
mm.
Actively dislike each other, that
Mm,
actively bash the thing that the other people like, and that actively act like they're better than one another. When it's like,
mm.
no, all of you are trash. And that's how I feel. Everyone is garbage, and we are all in this garbage bag together, baby. Okay. Shout out to we're all in here together. I don't think anyone is better than anyone. I don't think any community is better than any community because it's
Mm.
like, take for instance, I shout out to Mark Boo. I got you. Listen, Mark made a post saying,
Mark Woolen, the one in the chat.
hmm, you
Okay.
know,
Shout out to Mark.
he said, what PlayStation guys don't do this or whatever, right? Because some salty Xbot was being like homophobic, right?
Okay.
And then, like literally 5 minutes later, one of the ponies was being homophobic, and I was just like, bro, like maybe you should have waited a few minutes. I don't know, you know. And shout out to because like, he called him out the same way he called out the bot. But it's just kind of like everyone. I mean, there's just always going to be people who are fucking insane,
Mm,
no matter what community. Like it's like okay, this person's crazy, whatever, you know, like that kind of thing.
mm.
But it's like I have friends everywhere, you know, I'm cool with everyone. I don't have any problems. Whew, I mean, I do actually have some problems with some people, but
You
like,
got
you know,
problems with
I don't,
people in the community? You mean?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
I
wow.
do. But
Okay.
like, for the most part, it's like, it's cool. Like we're vibing. Like I'm on Xbox guys shows, I'm on PlayStation guys
Mm,
shows. Like it's not a problem. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like
mm.
because at the end of the day, I view people as people. Like because you know, take all day for instance. I'm always like, "What's up, you pony?" You know that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but like all day is my best friend. You know, and
Okay.
it's like not even a problem. So if we're cool
How long
as
have you
like
guys known each
people,
other?
uh, almost 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah, but if we're like cool as people, then whatever brand you prefer, it's like it's whatever. Like I don't care, you know, other
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
like listen, you bot, okay, and you know having a conversation about that. But it's just like it's teasing in my opinion,
Mm,
and I mean there are people who can't handle even being called that, but
mm.
whatever.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, that's definitely a very different approach to what some people have come and said on this show. So that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, that's those are the questions. You know, that's all I have for today. Really dope. Really dope interview. It was really good to have you here. Really good to have everybody here as well. I think we're gonna get into the outros. Ashen, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter, on YouTube, all that good stuff. When is Scumcast time? All that great stuff. Let us know.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Mm,
So you guys can find me on Twitter at TheAshenLuca,
mm.
and I do Scumcast every Saturday. Well, almost every Saturday when I'm not getting my hair done. Saturdays at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You
Mm.
know, I actually see a bunch of my boys in the chat. You know,
Yeah,
hashtag Legion of Scum, baby. That's what I like to see.
they riding out
So
for you in the chat today, man.
yeah, so you know, shout out to my boys. And honestly speaking, like like I said, I have a lot of PlayStation guys who support me, you know, and I have a lot of Xbox guys who support me as well, and it's great. that they can look past my botism, okay, and see me as a person. I appreciate you guys so much, okay? I get the jokes. And like me and Mark sometimes don't agree, but we've always been respectful of one another. Even I'm pretty sure he used to be a bot, but whatever.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we've always been super respectful of each other, and it's
Yeah.
like uh it's never been a problem. Shout out to Gregor with the short jokes. He does it every time I show up on
How
anyone's
tall are you?
show. 4'11".
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, I get the short jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely great to have you here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come through to my show, One Persona Interviews. It was really great. And for everybody in the chat, if you want to follow Luca and support her, the links to her Twitter and the link to her YouTube are in the description. Definitely go check it out. Scumcast every Saturday, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. And for me, guys, I really appreciate everybody being here. So sorry for the technical issues. Like I said, I don't know. First it was OBS, now it's Streamlabs. I don't know what's going on here. This is it's starting to piss me off, really. But I promise everything will be better next time. Speaking of which, like I said, I appreciate everybody being here. The day ones, the early birds, and everyone that all of the AshenLuca supporters. Really great having you guys here. For me personally, Saturday morning at 11 a.m. What's Up PlayStation podcast with myself and Jay Bari, 11 a.m. Definitely make sure you guys check that out. Subscribe to What's Up PlayStation podcast YouTube channel. Also next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I've got Neo GameSpark coming through for the interview. That's gonna be fun. Don't miss that interview. And with that being said, guys, we're gonna get up out of here. Please be safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and I'll see you guys next time, same